I seem like I'm good at talking, but I'm really not.
Alright.
Fire spinning. How about them Yankees?
It's just
Fire spinning is when you light a prop on fire and then you manipulate it in different ways. It's like an art form, a dance, a meditation. It's whatever you want to make it to you. It's different for the user. So for me, it's more of a meditation and an art form. I love to dance and I love to use my body to do things. So when I light it on fire, I go in this state. It's called like a flow state, where I kind of don't pay attention to anything else around me, and the only thing that matters is the fire that's in my hand and manipulating it and having fun with it. I've been doing it for about 3 years now, give or take. Actually, no, it has been exactly 3 years this last month. So yeah, 3 years strong of steady practicing.
I've been spinning fire for about 5 weeks now, and I got into it with a few of my friends. Have been doing it for a while, and it just interested me to play with fire, because growing up I was always messing with fire, doing some pyro things, some things I probably shouldn't have been doing. But I've always had a awesome connection with fire.
I felt it calling my name for a while, but I never actually delved into it. And then I moved in with a friend. We went to a rave and there was fire spinners there. He made friends with them and they invited him to a flow meetup where they practice and spin fire, and he invited me with him. So I went with him to that, and ever since then I kind of just dove right into it, bought my own fire props, and then I've just been doing it ever since.
I've gained a lot from this experience of being able to create flow and just surround myself with a different crowd of people. People that are very like-minded, high vibes, and just good, loving people that just want peace and happiness and enjoy living in that present moment of being in that flow state of nothing else matters.
There's limitless different types of props. The ones that I know of are at least like 10 plus, but you can literally turn anything into a prop if you want to. I've seen people create different kinds of props. Basketballs can be a prop. I've seen fire basketballs, just fireballs, just random things. So it's not really an answer for how many different props there is, because you can make one out of anything. You can do a flaming bike, a flaming skateboard, you can do anything.
Trying to perfect the craft of the staff first and foremost, and the palm torches, using the dancing skills and athletic abilities to try to create different illusions with them. Really early in my process of creating my own flow and what I want to end up being as a flow artist.
There is also limitless different tricks. especially when it comes to certain props. There's certain props where you kind of are limited and there's only a certain amount of tricks you can do, but when it comes to things like poi, which is like a string with a ball attached to the end that you spin around, it's limitless. You can come up with however many different tricks. There's never a ceiling that you hit. It's like a rabbit hole that you go down and keep finding more and more out.
Like you're lost in the fire or the light, whatever toy you're using. You just get lost where you feel like you're in your own world, really.
For me, what I would do is I would just spend a lot of time with my prop. I would take them everywhere with me. I would just put on some music and just dance and just play with it for a while. It's one of those things where if you have it with you all the time, you're going to get better at it. I would take it to work with me. I would take it on the bus. I would be on my lunch break outside my job, spinning my staff and just practicing. So it's really all it takes is just spending time with it.
Oh. There? Yeah, if you should work on not grabbing it right here. Not grabbing it right there and letting it roll around instead to the front. You want to put your arm up when you do it though. Yeah, you'll get it. You'll get it soon. Maybe practice without the fire.
You know, just finding your center, finding your flow, you know, I mean, the community, the growth, the friendship, you know, I mean, like this is a heart-based community that we're growing. And it's beautiful, all the love and the friendship that we're growing over here. And, you know what I mean? How many people that are coming? And it just started from two of us, just me and Cody, you know what I mean? I was playing with Cody last summer, you know what I mean? Like, I found him on the beach, and he had his staff, and you know what I mean? Like, he had an extra one, so I started playing with that. And, shit got lit after that. And shortly after, we met Zach and Emilio and them, and yeah, we started manifesting the future of this, and here we are now. I love the beach, and that's where I started, and that's where I love it the most, and that's where the community has grown. That's where the roots lie the deepest. We do it multiple times out of the week. If I can get everywhere that I'm supposed to be, it's like 4 days a week or better. Yeah. It's going to turn into damn near every day of the week. I hope to turn it into my job. I just love the community, the people, and how like-minded individuals can have such a great time together. You know, we are different people. We do still have some common likenesses. I've always had my own twist on things. I've been against the grain the whole time. You know, yeah, like from me watching people do things, it sort of just happens. You know, for me, I don't really need to practice it. It's just like one day, it just happens. You know, when I'm flowing, it's just like, oh, now I got that. I'm just so happy to be part of it. That's it. You know, I mean, like, I love everybody here.
My favorite place is Fort Myers Beach. Yeah, it's been my home since I was 6 years old, and it's been everywhere I've been elsewhere. It just doesn't quite compare for some reason. Probably just because of the nostalgia aspect of it. I've always gone to that beach. It's always been part of me, and I don't know, great things seem to happen on that beach. So definitely my favorite place it's been. Even just me spinning on the beach recently by myself, I've already developed so many other fire spinners and flow artists and everybody to come out and just enjoy themselves and have that space. They could just have fun and not worry about anything. My truckle staff works a little differently than a fire staff. I had to build cages out of different kinds of steel thicknesses that hold charcoal, and it's soaked in actual lighter fluid, just like you would start a grill pretty much. And then at first that thing will explode into a giant flame and hold that, and then eventually it'll die down and simmer, and it actually dies down into just a sparkle display. When I'm out there, people definitely stop and stare, and at some points you get lost in the music, you don't even pay attention, and then when you stop, you just have a crowd of people around you, especially out in Fort Myers by the pier. There's so many people when they see fire and just like gravitate towards it. I've had to make a tip jar actually because I've had people put money into my fuel that I actually soak with. So it's kind of more so convenience to not have to worry about people putting money random places. But yeah, people do tip, and I love it when they do, because it almost means they love what they see enough to give me something for it, and it's really cool.
So, flow arts is kind of like an umbrella term for lots of different things. That could be dance, that could be all the different types of flow arts are like the poi, hoop, staff, and fire spinning is like a flow art. So it's just kind of like a way that you would categorize it, honestly.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a version of like a little animal inside of a big one. Like it's almost like a different level where you can take certain kinds of flow arts, the certain kinds where we use props and things like that. Like the hoop and the poi and staff and all those things, that you can take those and make them into fire. So it's just a version of that medium of flow art, I would say. But I would agree with like that dance is a flow art. I think that art and like painting is a flow art as well. I think those all fall into the umbrella term of flow arts, which falls into art. I like both in a different way. It depends on my mood. I think LEDs you have more freedom sometimes with LED, but with fire you're challenging yourself to reach the freedom that you have with the LED almost. I can do more tricks with LED and more on-body movements, and then with fire it's like I can do those, but I have to learn a different avenue to do them.
I would say that they each kind of have their own time and place, honestly. Like she was saying, flow arts with the LEDs, for example. It's really fun. You're not really worried about burning yourself. You can try new things and not be scared of what's going to happen to it. Just kind of lose yourself in the flow more. But with fire spinning, that can still happen, but it's a little more difficult because in the back of your head, you're like, I'm playing with fire, and I could burn myself while this is happening.
My favorite prop is hula hoop. It's my first love, and the first like flow prop I've picked up. I picked up like palm torches, so that'll allow me to do more dance and more body movements versus focusing so much on the prop. And the levy wand is also one that I'm learning to pick up as well.
I would say my favorite prop is definitely poi, for sure. Like she said, it's gonna always have that special place in my heart because it was the first prop that got me into flow arts. But I've definitely started branching off. I started learning contact staff, and last night I spun a dragon staff for the first time, so we'll see how that goes.
Certain tricks like will take like an hour to learn, and then certain tricks take like, if you do them a little bit consistently over a certain period of time. Sometimes it takes me months to learn a trick, and then sometimes it'll take me a day or an hour to learn a trick. It depends on which one and how much motivation I have.
On a more like technical side of it though, I think that like when you're spinning for yourself, you're not really like worried about what angle people are looking at it. I might be doing one trick this way and it looks cool if you're looking at it from this angle, but if you're looking at it from this angle, it looks very different and it might not look as cool. So when I'm like performing for other people, I take time to think like, okay, the audience is gonna be here, so when I'm doing this trick, it has to be done this way. So it might be a little bit more like choreographed per se when I'm like spinning for other people rather than like spinning for myself.
First performance was like the most invigorating experience. One of the most like confidence boosting experiences I've had in a while. I was performing in front of like people downtown and seeing who like actually stopped and like stayed for the whole thing, and they didn't lose interest and they liked what they were seeing and they were cheering us on, and the kids that were watching and inspiring kids to like maybe enter into flow arts is really exciting and a cool opportunity to teach like children this and to like lose themselves within it. Like that is so cool to me.
So I flow with a dragon staff, and a dragon staff is basically a contact staff, but instead of having one wick on the end, it's got four spokes, and it basically spins on its own, and you can do a lot of really cool movements and tricks with it. It's very flowy, it's very elegant, it's very loud. That's why it's called a dragon, is because it sounds like a dragon when it spins, and it's so powerful. It's awesome.
There's like 3 wicks, 8 wicks, 6 wicks, a lot of different wick combinations that you can do. There's even something called the sun dragon, which is just a huge wad of wicks around the end. But any type of dragon staff typically consists of one long staff and then wicks around that with spokes. So important to create a dragon staff is to have spokes. Otherwise it would be a contact, which is just the one long stick with 2 wicks at the end. And so those spokes at the end help with the weight distribution. Whereas a contact that can be a little lighter is easier to kind of flip around like this. A dragon staff, like I said, flows by itself. So because of the weight of it, it allows it to kind of roll down. And you can do more with that, with balancing, because it kind of has its own balance rather than having to create that by yourself.
So with the contact, I feel like it's less spinning of the staff and it's more manipulating it. And with the dragon, I feel like you have to get more into the spin of it because it naturally rolls on its own. So you have different tricks like chi rolls and a lot of body flow arts that you can do that you can't necessarily do with the contact because it rolls so fast. The dragon has the 4 spokes, which allows it to roll a lot slower, and you can get a lot of really cool movement and tricks out of it. I like that you can kind of create your own vibe with it and your own like energy, that every person's is different. Everybody has a different flow, everybody has a different flow state, and it's just really beautiful that you can kind of get into your own sense of meditation.
I love art, I love dancing, but I've always kind of just felt silly doing it. And flow arts has allowed me to express that while kind of going through all the things that I need to in my mind. So it's not only like a physical flow, I kind of get into that mental flow where I'm able to sort through my own thoughts. It's really beautiful.
So at Kava Culture in Estero, we do flow nights where we come out and fire spin. Anybody can come out, you don't have to have a prop to come out. That's the best part about it, is you can come barehanded and learn something completely new by the end of the night. And you could be fire spinning by the end of the night if you really wanted to. It's just really cool how many people you can bring in. We've met so many people within the flow community that didn't even know that there was one here, and came to the flow night one night, was like, oh my gosh, there's like 15 people here that I can now come and flow with whenever. And it's such a good weekly thing to be able to do.
We started that event because we noticed that we couldn't really spin on the beach as much as we wanted to anymore, but we still wanted a place to go to spin and connect with people and learn from each other. I think that's the hardest thing as a flow artist, is finding other people to connect with and learn, because if not, you're just having to learn from online videos, and it's completely different. It allows you to kind of have more space to connect with other people with different props. So it's a really nice space to learn from each other and able to flow with other people. So it's a time when anyone can come out and pick up a staff or any prop to learn and really just connect with themselves and flow with other people.
The type of equipment people use can vary anywhere from needing multiple levels of fuel types to different setups for different staffs or different combustibles for different staffs. And I mean, in my case, I bring out tiki torches, I bring out speakers, music for everybody, everything from tents if you spend during the day with everybody and everything. So it definitely gets up there as far as things you need and how deep you get into wanting to do it all the time.
When you go out to fire spin, there is kind of like a basic list that you should have with you. First of all, safety, so you should always be carrying like a fire blanket or something to put it out, burn cream. It's essential, especially if you're lighting yourself, playing with fire, all of that should be safe. Second of all, you need a prop that has wicks on it that you're able to dip and burn with. You need some kind of container that you can store your gas in, as well as kerosene. We use white gas and we don't use like regular gas that you would put in your car. That just burns too hot and it burns too fast. So we use a certain kind of camp fuel so that it burns for a long time, it's not super hot, and it's really able to be manipulated. If you've never fire spun before, the best thing to do is to find someone that has, or either find someone that has, find a group that has, really learn from someone. That's what I found has been the best way for me to learn. I personally didn't have that when I started flowing. I just saw it online and I was like, that's a really cool prop, I should get that. And I ordered it, and then I just kind of started learning tricks on my own from videos. And then later on I found a flow group, which I've been able to grow so much since being a part of.
Anywhere will have a group of people fire spinning. So looking for those people on social media and reaching out to them, saying, hey, I've always wanted to try this. Do you know where people meet up, or can I work with you? Most fire spinners or most flow artists are very, very open to teaching other people, because we want everyone to be able to connect with themselves and each other and kind of grow that community. So if you're interested, please reach out via that social media, walking up to somebody, oh, like, where can I learn this? Where do you guys meet? So if you see a group of fire spinners and say, hey, can you teach me a trick? Most of the time they're going to be so ecstatic to teach you something, because we love sharing that art that we love to create.
Some poi tricks that I know personally are there's the 3-beat weave, which is always a good one to get people started on poi. The butterfly is another one that I learned after that. The corkscrew is another trick that people could pick up very easily. There's a bunch of different flowers as well. There's the anti-spin flower, and then there's the same direction flower spin.
Some hula hoop tricks, I like to teach people isolations, or I always have fun with isolations. There's so many different ways that you can do them and move them, and different directions you can go. It's just kind of makes it look like the hoop is levitating almost. It's a cool one, and a good one to do with fire as well. And there's escalators, which are fun. You can do different kinds of escalators and go up or down, go up and down, all the things. And then just traditional hula hooping, where you get into it and you waist hoop and you're just doing your thing like we did as children. So. The most important thing for me, I would say, is that it's really hard to get better if you don't spend time with your prop. That's the biggest piece of advice I can, I guess, give anyone, is spend time with your prop. Spend time with them when they're not on fire, but also play with the fire too, to kind of get used to it. But I don't think I really ever would have been able to make it as a flow artist until I quit drinking alcohol. So if you find yourself in a position where you just are in a rut, maybe try changing your lifestyle. See if that'll help, because quitting drinking was the push that I needed to get healthy myself and be able to focus on what I want, which was to be a flow artist.
Let me just make sure I got this right. Her name is Jules. Everyone make some noise for Jules. You can catch her every Friday night at Fort Myers Beach. She's from St. Pete, and she's gonna be doing some fire spinning for us. So, if y'all are ready for some hot action, let me hear you make some noise. She needs to fill it up out there. If you're ready for some fire, let me hear you make some noise. This is Jewel.
I've connected with the hula hoop on a level that is just hard to explain. I can just get lost in my flow. And I've been hula hooping for all these years, and it's something I've always turned to. I think I just started getting into like poi and stuff over the past like 7 years because all the moves translate. The most difficult thing I'm trying to learn right now is fire eating. It's really hard to manipulate fire like that and get over your fear of burning yourself. So fire eating is when you have the 2 hollow torches. So it's like a wick at the end of a hollow metal torch, and you dip the wicks in gasoline and you light them, and you basically put it out with your mouth. Because you're touching it to your mouth so quickly, it doesn't really burn you. And when you put it out with your mouth, you're kind of blowing it out, but it looks like you're putting it out with your mouth, so it's more of an optical illusion. Vapor tricks, you inhale, not into your lungs, into your mouth. You inhale the vapor from it, sucking through the hollow part of the tube, and you get the vapor in your mouth, and you slowly release it, and when you put flame to it, it'll come out of your mouth. So that's what's the human torch, I think that trick is called, where it comes out of your mouth. Fire breathing, that is when you spit paraffin. It has to be 100% paraffin lamp oil. That's when you spit paraffin lamp oil out of your mouth, and you have to kind of like blow it out like as if you're spitting into, and you have to make it tiny little particles because that's how it combusts. I got into clubs because not very many people in our area juggle clubs, so I just felt like it was the next step in terms of my juggling journey. So I started working with Citrus Circus in November of 2022 now. Yeah, so I would say about 1.5 years I've been working with them. And then after my first gig, I started going to the practices, and once you start showing up and being a part of the troupe, you obviously start getting more booked with more events and more gigs and stuff. So, like, I would say definitely just keep doing what you're doing. Like, consistency is key. Make sure that your performances are polished and they're good. You're not dropping your props all the time, because unfortunately, like, that can be dangerous when you're, like tonight, the performance I'm doing is on a like 3.5-4 foot stage, and it's surrounded by people. So if your performance is, if I drop a hula hoop, I drop it on a bunch of people. Like, so you kind of just have to make sure your performances are clean, polished. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting yourself out there. Keep putting yourself on social media. Keep showing up to flow meets. Meet with people that are also, doing what you're doing, because you never know if someone you meet at like a flow event might need someone for a gig that they're working, Make
some noise for Jewel! Yeah. Only you can eat forest fires.
Well, I guess the saber is my favorite prop at the moment. Although, because I always felt like I really want to master the saber before I want to move on, if I wanted to move on to anything else. And I'm kind of getting curious about the tie staff, which is it's like a saber on both ends. It's a lot of fire to manage, but that's kind of the next thing I'm kind of curious about. But I feel like I still got a lot of work to do on the saber before I kind of move on to expand my horizons. Unless you count the rope. The fire rope is, I suppose, another kind of prop, and I really enjoy using that too. And it was kind of a bummer when I first got it. It was 2022, I want to say, and I got to use it exactly twice on Vanderbilt Beach before the county park rangers finally kicked us off after like 2 years of spinning fire on the beach. But it feels great to be back on the beach up in Fort Myers, even though it is like an hour-long drive. I can use the rope again, so. And you can do a lot with it, because you can have a giant 80-foot fire circle on the ground, or you can use it as a jump rope. But I just thought the fire rope was really cool, and I was like, oh, what can we do with fire rope? We can have a really big one. So, and then they sold it you can buy it online, Kevlar rope online by the foot, and so I bought 80 feet worth, and been using it ever since. I'm thinking about ways, like how else can we use that rope? Like, maybe we can make letters, or you can twist it into a figure 8 and you can have 2 circles. There's different things you could probably do with it, and I'm always kind of trying to think of how I can experiment with that a little more. I think this saber, it's a matter of, there's the basics of like how you can swing it, and it depends on what type of saber you have. Like I have one saber that's like a katana that's not weighted at either end, so it's very unbalanced. All the weight is out at the saber end. And you also have a contact saber that has the saber, but it also has a weighted steel ball at the end, and that's like a little bit different. I haven't really gotten into that too much yet, but I think it's like a matter of like throwing your saber, either spinning it in the air or just launching it into the air and catching it on the downstroke. Anything involving fire has always kind of captivated me, and it seems to captivate other people as well. So like my artwork that I do, not fire spinning, but like I burn images into wood using a magnifying glass in the sun, called solar pyrography. And so just anything kind of involving that, it's like the fire is just kind of always something I've been very curious about. And fire spinning is all about I'm always thinking about how can you manipulate fire in such a way that looks really interesting and kind of fulfills that dance niche, but not so much that it's going to land you in the doctor's office with a Silvadene prescription.
3, 2, 1.
I would like to say that I thought it was a subculture for a while, and honestly, I think it's becoming pretty mainstream now. You'll see online, I don't know if it's just your phone catering to what you like, but I'll see like memes specifically catered to like fire spinners and like flow artists, and I don't know if people have been seeing that recently, but you know, it's popular enough for people to want to cater to an audience of it now. And it's pretty cool to see how mainstream it's becoming. I'll be going out somewhere and someone will be like, oh, nice poise spinning, and it's nice to see that they like know the name of what it is and they're not just saying, oh, cool, balls on fire. Like,
Yes.
it's nice to see people getting into it.
The flow arts community seems to be growing. I mean, even in our little area, it almost seems like people just need a place to go. And then, as the saying goes, you build it, they will come. And you just kind of see people start to wander up, and next time they come out, they bring their toys, and then they're a part of the whole thing.
I would definitely say it's getting more and more popular as time goes on. I wouldn't call it mainstream yet though. There's definitely a lot more fire spinners and flow artists out there than you would expect, and I'm always surprised whenever I go to a flow event how many people are actually there, or how many random people I meet that know what it is and are interested in it. So my goal actually as a fire spinner is I want people to watch me and see what I do and want to do it as well. So that's kind of how it gets more and more mainstream and more popular. Is the more people do it, the more other people get interested in it.
Because we're having so many issues with the world, people need a way to release. And especially now with like the movement of like health and happiness, and like, I don't know if you know people, like, or you guys know anyone that's quitting drinking alcohol. People are starting to treat their bodies correctly. They're starting to eat healthy, you know, not do things that are detrimental to their health. And I feel like this is just something that goes along with it, just like yoga and working out. It's definitely just another form of, you know, meditation, really.
Releases a lot of positive endorphins throughout the body. It keeps you just happy and energized. And like I said, the people that are involved are just dope people. And they enjoy watching, you know, and cheering you on and uplifting you.
It showed me a better side of life. You know what I mean? That I was needing. Yeah. Found the right people to fit my puzzle.
I really fire spin for myself. If people ask me to spin for them, I'd be more than happy to do so. But it's more about having something for me to connect with and recenter myself when I have a bad day, or when I really want to sort through something, or when I really just want to have fun. So I do it for myself, but there are a lot of fire spinners who this is their profession, and that's beautiful.
With fire spinning, I don't think that there's an end goal for me. Like, I don't really know if I'd want to be a performer in that sense. I really do it for my mental health and keeping myself sane and happy. And it's a really good stress reliever, especially when the week's been really, really long. It's a really good way to just kind of end the week, reset for the next one. Throughout the week, if I'm really stressed, I'll just pick it up and flow with it for like 15, 20 minutes, and I'll feel like so much better after it. It's a good way to get your body in motion.
I can see myself doing this as long as my body will ask me, you know, which, you know, you never know when your time's gonna be up. I'm a little older than some. I'm 41 in just a few weeks. And so, you know, I've already had my share of health struggles, had cancer once upon a time, and boy, that really set me back. And so I'm always kind of cognizant, you know, it's like, how much time do I have left where I can do this thing that I love?
It will be happening for a really long time. Yeah, I'll be in this for a long time. It's a beautiful art form, and it's a lot of how I express myself and express my femininity, especially. It just, for me, that's how it was, like, discovering flow arts was like, wow, you can dance, you can be graceful, you can do these things, and you can perform, after, like, not having that outlet for so long, and then discovering it in college was like, so it's still new to me. I'm still gonna do it for a long time, and yeah, I'm gonna make sure my body allows it. So I will be doing it for a while.
Anything can be a prop. This chair can be a prop.
Man, peace.